Kansas City 32, Buffalo 29. I know I was wrong on the Washington pick, but I was dead on this one. I said Kansas City would be losing in the fourth quarter and they would come back and win. That's exactly what happened. To me, just real quickly, three key plays that stand out. The 4th and inches that the Chiefs stopped early in the fourth quarter, they called that a turnover on downs, and the review was upheld. I think if it was called the other way around, the review would have also been upheld. Do you guys agree on that one?
Agreed. Absolutely. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was way too hard to tell. That was a really big skull that was going on there in the middle.
The really screwy part, we're always going to go back to it, is that you had two officials. One of them said he was short, one of them said he was over.
Yep.
And it's in
The shorter
Kansas
one
City.
won.
Which one
Yeah.
won?
Yep. The
Yep.
shorter one won. Yep. I saw it. And they pointed that out on TV. I mean, it was just so hard to say. I mean, Allen could have easily reached the ball out too, but then who knows if he fumbles. My second play, Bills' final possession, 4th and 5. Chiefs bring an exotic looking blitz. The corner runs untouched into the pocket. Allen pretty much throws a no-look pass down the field. You think incomplete. Dalton Kincaid almost caught that ball. That ball went through his hands. And Evan, that would have put them in field goal range because it was right at like the mark for longest field goal.
Trust me, I was getting pretty nervous during those last couple drives that I was going to be the one jumping on the table. So
And then guys, my final play before I toss it to you. Chiefs' final possession. They're trying to run out the clock. 3rd and 9. Mahomes rolls out. Oh, 2nd and 9. Mahomes rolls out,
Hmm.
finds Pacheco for the first down catch. Tony Romo literally called that on the broadcast. He said,
Ironically, I didn't have any audio and I said the exact same thing. I was
yeah,
expecting a play action pass there.
he said Mahomes was going to have 2nd and 3rd down with the ball in his hands to make a play. And he rolled out and found the open receiver. He would have ran that ball if Pacheco wasn't open. And then on the next sequence of downs, I think it was 2nd and 9. Mahomes finds P. Ryan out of the backfield, easy 17-yard scamper to clinch the game. Guys, those were two genius play calls, low risk, high reward. Mahomes was never throwing the ball deep on either of those plays. And so I just think excellent play calling to help him close it out. Evan, why don't we start off with your reaction to this game?
yeah, the story with this is that these were two of just the most amazing NFL quarterbacks willing their teams to win on both sides. You had Patrick Mahomes, who again shows how methodical he can be picking apart a defense over and over, never makes the same mistake twice. And then you have Josh Allen, who is just incredible at just running down a defense and getting physical with them. And that's what he did. You know, the Bills really they're almost a two-headed monster from a rushing perspective because you basically have two running backs in the backfield at all times with Josh Allen back there too. So this was one of the most exciting games I've watched all season. Going forward, I don't know if the Super Bowl is going to top this game, if I'm being completely honest. It was a really fun game to watch, really close from, you can see the stat lines there are almost identical, except for some penalties that I'm sure Cameron would love to point out are favoring the Bills a little bit more from their penalty perspective, but just a really fun game to watch.
Cam, didn't you say last week, didn't you have a stat that said the Chiefs were like had a perfect record or had less penalties in every game they've won under Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs?
They're 12-0 since 2021
Yeah.
of not having more penalties than their opponents.
And look what happened. 5 penalties for 21 yards, 6 penalties for 48 yards.
Agreed. Now, I do have three takeaways from this game. First and foremost, Joey, one missed call from that game that I think needs to be called out. Xavier Worthy in the second quarter did not catch that ball. That did not catch that pass. That
The
ball hit
one
the
that
ground
was the one that was deep and with three guys on him.
on the right side, and
Yeah,
the ball
yeah,
hits the
yeah, yeah.
ground. Okay,
It was
yeah, that's not
close.
possession. Yeah, it's not close. The ball hit the ground. He didn't have possession. That's it. Number two, I have never watched a game that was more a game of inches than this
Mhm.
game. On
Which is
six
great.
different occasions, the Bills had the opportunity for 4th and inches. And four of those times they got it, and arguably they could have gotten it on the fifth. I'm not even going to try and argue that point. You got to have a play other than just Josh Allen to the left. That
Yeah.
doesn't work every time. And we saw,
they got.
from Chris Jones, that doesn't work every time, even if he's lined up off sides. Number 3, Andy Reid outcoached Sean McDermott in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that should be the biggest takeaway here. If you're going to put the referees or the officials in a place where they have to call the game, I would lean Chiefs 10 out of 10 times. And I don't feel that McDermott tried to remove that from being the problem with the game.
Evan, didn't you and I agree last week that Allen had to be a superstar and perfect to win this game?
Yep.
And he was pretty good,
Yeah.
but he wasn't good.
Yeah, I was say, yeah, he was pretty close. There were definitely no major mistakes that happened. Not even big mistakes that happened from Josh Allen. It was just a
That ball gets
team
cut by
effort.
Kincaid.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that Kansas City defense, they were just all over the
Mhm.
Bills. I mean, it was crazy to watch, especially that last sack that happened. That was just completely untouched. I mean,
1,000%.
what an incredible play that was dialed up at the right time.
Yeah, you just can't count out Patrick Mahomes. Like
No.
I thought maybe when they kicked that field goal to go up 32-29, I'm like, maybe Josh Allen can do something here, but the defense, we talked last week, Chris Jones is the only Pro Bowler on that Chiefs team, but the schemes that they draw up are so good. But they're going to have to drop some new schemes for one of the guys they're facing next week, the Philadelphia Eagles, because guys, Saquon Barkley is a man on a mission. Eagles just blow out the Commanders 55-23. I took Commanders money line. Maybe there's a comment coming up where someone makes fun of me. I don't know. Evan has that covered, but just quickly my points on this game. I texted you guys after the first Commanders drive. I called it the Notre Dame drive. 18 plays, 54 yards, 7 minutes off the clock. But then the Eagles say, okay, we're Ohio State. They score on their first play of their first possession, force a fumble, score immediately again. It's 14-3 before you could blink. Philly also had 28 points off 4 Washington turnovers. So, Cam, you can't win if you're Washington if you turn the ball over 4 times.
Yeah, I have in my notes, and honestly, I'll be super brief. Jaden Daniels didn't lose this game. The
No, he
team
did not.
around him, I felt, did. And at the end of the day, there's a roster disparity between these two teams. If you just look at who the most talented, put together team in the NFL is, excuse me, not dealing with coaching, and I don't think that their coach is bad, but you have the skill positions, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon, like it's ridiculous. Your offensive line and your defensive line are both insanely talented. And then you deal with the defensive, the linebackers and the corners. You kind of can't stop it. I'm really excited for the Super Bowl, but I'm not surprised that this ended the way it did.
Evan, you took Eagles to cover. You were dead on. You could have taken them minus whatever it was, 30.5, and you would have won this bet.
Yeah. Yeah. To Cameron's point, Jaden Daniels, he did everything he could in this game. And I said this last week. The Eagles are just too complete of a team where the Commanders, Jaden Daniels got them to this point in the season, and he played phenomenal. It was just a mismatch at almost every position. And like you said, it wasn't close. You can see the stats there. I mean, 1 yard short from on the rushing to match their passing yards. That just doesn't happen. Saquon Barkley, it's unfortunate for the Commanders that they got an Eagles team that is playing out of their mind against the best running back in the league right now, who is just having the best season. So it was never close. And all I got to say is the better team, the more complete team won, and they showed why they need to be in the Super Bowl.
Guys, I want to give a quick shout out to former Clemson running back Will Shipley. 77 yards on the Eagles' second to final drive. Their last drive, they knelt it 2 times. 77 yards and a touchdown. That was 5 yards short of his total rushing yards for the entire season. During the regular season, he had 82 rushing yards. So 77 on one drive. Philly was eating it up. They loved it. He's a really popular guy here in the Carolinas, so I just wanted to give him a shout out.
Well, I was just going to say, it just shows for the Commanders to really be a contender going forward in the next couple of years, Obviously, they got to get a couple more key positions held up, but Dan Quinn has got to figure out how to stop the run. He's
Yeah.
always been so bad everywhere he's ever been at stopping the run. Good at stopping the pass, but that's only half the equation.
Well, then when the second half rolls around, sometimes he doesn't like to prepare.
Yeah, like the Patriots. Super Bowl.
Yeah, or the Eagles.
Yeah.
With 2 minutes to go, it was what, 14-12 in this game?
Yeah,
And then
it was a close game.
Eagles scored a touchdown, and then the Commanders fumbled the kickoff or the first play, I don't remember. It's 28-12 going into halftime. So
Yeah.
it was anyways.
You
Digress.
guys want to guess what the line is for the Super Bowl?
Ooh, I'm going to say 4.5 Chiefs.
Okay, Cam.
I'm gonna go 1.5. I could almost see a pick 'em.
1.5 who?
Chiefs.
Yeah, you're dead on. 1.5 Chiefs. So it's going to be a pick 'em. I think it's going to be a really good game because they played in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. It was really good then too.
Comment, subscribe, follow us on everything you see down there below. We are getting more active on all the social media sites and trying to pump out a lot more content. We appreciate you watching and come back next week.